So that proved popular yesterday with the Sauna Thoughts. So I thought I would do another one today, this time talking about post-apocalyptic world building, because I watched a really interesting video yesterday about deer. Yes, I know. So it was, I'm going to dive into what the video was and why it inspired this in a moment, but just to give people a chance to get online, I would like to just very much welcome my latest Build It in Stone member, Katie. And if you want to join the channel and support me in making these videos, you can become a member of the channel for as little as a cup of coffee a month, or as much as the Member in Stone members, who I very much and very deeply appreciate. And it gives you all kinds of cool perks, which you can check out in the join button. Okay, so let's talk about post-apocalyptic world building and why deer inspired me here. So I watched a Hank Green video about deer antlers and the fact that they regrow every year. They fall off, a whole organ falls off the deer and regrows. And that is pretty amazing, to be honest with you. And that is because deer have got special stem cells inside of their antlers, so that whole organ can regrow. Now, the interesting part here is that you could build a post-apocalyptic setting, right, where perhaps some kind of radiation has hit Earth, okay? And in order to combat this, what scientists did was they created a tool that grafts deer antlers and their stem cells onto human beings, onto like our skin, right? Creating this post-apocalyptic armor that sits on top of these creatures, on top of these people in this post-apocalyptic setting. Okay, so we've got our initial post-apocalyptic setting where scientists were desperately trying to figure out what to do. There's been this experiment with mice proving that deer genetics allows them to create, to heal wounds, so they create this self-regenerating armor on top of people. Okay, cool. Now, what happens next is over the years after the apocalypse, a lot of people die because they can't get this treatment. There's, all kinds of societal breakdowns and so on. And this leads to the knowledge being lost. Okay, so we've now lost the kind of post-apocalyptic knowledge of this event. And all that's left are these shamans who are actually basically gene engineers. And the shamans treat people with this gene treatment every time that these people are, every time somebody's born, they're treated with this treatment to put this layer of antler horns over them. And then your story can come in where some tribe has lost their genetic modification device, because it's a device that the shaman, who's actually an engineer, a la the Warhammer 40k kind of pray to the machine spirit principle, right? So in that principle, this shaman's actually an engineer, and the shaman has lost his device, or it's been broken or whatever, and a quest needs to be undertaken to gain a new one. And through doing that, the quest taker, the protagonist, can explore this world and gain the scientific knowledge of how this genetic process worked. Now, why this would be really interesting, in my opinion, is because it would allow you to explore a thematic element where science is actually the good guy. Science is what enabled these people to survive. They've lost that knowledge over the years, but science was not the cause of the apocalypse. Scientists didn't dig too deep. They were actually the saviors in this case. And I think that that would be an interesting reversal, especially for fantasy. Ever since Tolkien, fantasy has been a little bit like anti-science, right? So, I mean, Tolkien set that principle with a Balrog, which as a thematic element is they dug too deep, the people explored too far, they tried too much. And because of that, you get into a situation where there's this disaster caused by people. But what if you turn that on its head?